Thought, thanks. Um, how can I be a meditation teacher? I can't quit my job. And then what happens over time is you start to hear that still small voice that gets louder and stronger and more insistent, and you stop listening so much to the mind chatter and you start to listen to that deeper part of who you are. And so I quit my job and I went back to school at 55 or something like that to learn how to be a meditation teacher. So that's how I got here, and I'm so honored to be part of the feast. I've been part of the feast for a number of years. I have about 10 recordings on gratitude. I'm the author of a book called The Bliss Buddy Project, How Sharing Gratitude Increases Joy. And so my first offering to the feast was about gratitude, which is always a very deep practice for me. But today I really want to dedicate this practice to Thich Nhat Hanh. We spoke about him this morning. If you were lucky enough to be on Susie's meditation, she offered a beautiful meditation this morning for Tay, as some people call him, a familiar name for him. And I think it's really important to take time not only to dedicate this practice to Thich Nhat Hanh, but we're going to do a meditation today that we will dedicate to our particular spiritual teachers. Not everybody here on this call knows Thich Nhat Hanh, and that's fine. You don't need to know him. Maybe you'll be exposed to him today from hearing me talk about him or from hearing Susie on the feast, and he happens to have some recordings on the Feast for the Soul. But I want to dedicate today our practice to your great spiritual teachers, because we all have them. And maybe our great spiritual teachers are famous people like Thich Nhat Hanh or the Dalai Lama, Martin Luther King, or whoever. Maybe it's a poet, Mary Oliver, or for me, some of my spiritual teachers are Ram Dass, Wayne Dyer, Carolyn Mace, Pema Chodron, of many. The late Rabbi Rachel Cowan was a spiritual teacher for me. But we also have spiritual teachers in our lives that we may not think of as spiritual teachers. So for me, I had a very challenging childhood. There was abuse in my childhood, neglect in my childhood. And I've come to understand that my parents were great spiritual teachers for me. It may seem ironic. Maybe you've never thought of the challenging people in your life as wonderful spiritual teachers, but I have come to appreciate that they have been and continue to be my great spiritual teachers. My children are also my great spiritual teachers. So spiritual teachers can be found in many different ways, in many different places in our lives. And we will do a meditation to honor those teachers. And it can be someone who you know, like your family or a friend or someone you've come in contact with. Sarah McLean has been one of my great spiritual teachers. Or it could be someone who's famous, like Thich Nhat Hanh, or someone else I mentioned, or someone that you have looked up to or read their teachings or followed them and you don't know them. This person can be alive right now, walking with us on this planet, or crossed over to spirit. But that's who we're going to invite into our meditation today. And before we begin, I just want to read a very short quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. This one is called Your True Home, which is actually the name of this book, which I really love. He said this: "Your true home is in the here and now. It is not limited by time, space, nationality, or race. Your true home is not an abstract idea. It is something you can touch and live in every moment. With mindfulness and concentration, the energies of the Buddha, you can find your true home in the full relaxation of your mind and body in the present moment. Love that. So I'm going to invite you now to get comfortable in your seat, whatever that looks like or feels like for you. You can have your screen on or off. And really start to settle into that comfortable, familiar seat. If it feels good for you, you can close your eyes or gaze gently downward at your hands in your lap. And begin to take a few long, slow, deep breaths in and out of the nose. Really begin to feel the breath move in the body. Maybe noticing now the support behind you and beneath you. If your feet happen to be on the floor, see if you can feel that connection to the floor, to being supported and grounded. Noticing the temperature on your skin. Noticing the places where your clothing is touching the body and maybe where the body is free. Becoming aware of the subtle sounds in the body. Sounds in the room. Sounds in the house. Maybe distant sounds outside. Notice too that you can discern between the closer sounds and the distant sounds. Who is the one who is discerning? And noticing even with the eyes closed, you can get a sense of the space that you're in. That awareness is vast, maybe even beyond the boundaries of the body. And drawing that awareness, that attention inward and coming to find the breath moving. Maybe noticing what happens as the body breathes. You may notice the rise and fall, the movement of the chest or the belly as you breathe in and out. You may become aware of the subtle sensations of fullness on the inhale and emptiness on the exhale as you breathe in and out. And noticing too how just by paying attention to your sensory experience, to the breath, that the body does begin to settle down. The mind may want to follow, but there is lots going on in there. So if you can imagine parking what's most pressing just outside the space you're in, and maybe it will be there when we're finished, and maybe not. Maybe it will come around again. That's what the mind does. But for now, bringing your attention to our time together, setting your intention to be as present as you can be, knowing you're giving yourself this great gift of self-care, and really arriving here in this space, here in this seat, here in this body, here in this moment. We've never been in this moment before. taking another deep breath in and out of the nose, really enjoying the ease of the exhale. And if you like, you can leave your eyes closed as I share just a few thoughts or open them before we go deeper into practice. So it's important always to remember that the thoughts will be there. This is not a practice about stopping the thoughts or pushing the thoughts away. We don't need to do anything to the thoughts. We just need to notice them and know that they will be there. And then return to the anchor of our breath. Why our breath? Our breath is always there. It's portable. It's free. It's always in the present moment. You can call on it anytime. So anchoring to the breath is a great way to stay in the present moment. As we're practicing, it's important to remember not to try too hard. This is not about concentration. It's really this very gentle shifting of your attention from thought back to breath over and over again in a very effortless and gentle way. Letting go of expectations. We often have the expectation that we're going to feel relaxed while we meditate, and that's usually the case, but not always. You may notice at some point you're feeling restless or bored. That's okay too. Just notice. Maybe name it for yourself. This is restlessness. Come back to the breath. Being kind to yourself. This is so important in the practice. Being kind to ourselves over and over again. I think it's really why we're here. What we're here to learn is to be kind to ourselves. One of the beautiful quotes that Thich Nhat Hanh shared with us is this: the purpose of a rose is to be a rose. Your purpose is to be yourself. You don't have to run anywhere to become someone else. You are wonderful just as you are. So remembering that as we practice, and stick with it. Stick with the time that you set. Stick with your practice over days, weeks, months, and years. Your life will transform. So if your eyes are not closed yet, or not closed now, you can close them. Taking just a few of those deeper breaths in and out of the nose, knowing that you're safe, grounded, present, making this choice to practice. And as you listen to the sound of the chime, you can let your breath return now to its natural depth and rhythm. No need to control it anymore. Your breath knows just how to take care of you. Welcoming the temperature, the warmth or coolness of the air on your skin and the sounds. Welcoming whatever arises internally, externally, resisting nothing, holding everything in an attitude of kind attention. Inviting some relaxation to the body, head to toe. Softening the scalp, unfurrowing the brow. Allowing the face to be soft and easy, no expression needed. Checking in with the jaw, seeing if you might need to unclench just a little. Allowing the tongue to rest comfortably in the mouth. Inviting the shoulders to just melt down the back away from the ears. Noticing the spine and the posture upright, relaxed, with a sense of dignity. Softening the front body from the top of the chest on down through the diaphragm and letting the belly be soft, easy, like a great big Buddha belly. Softening the right arm from the shoulder on down through the elbow all the way to the fingertips. And the left arm softening, letting go of any tension, shoulder to fingertips. Settling the attention now in the pelvis, maybe noticing it sinking a bit deeper into the seat beneath you. Feeling the earth, the floor, the cushions all rising up to support you and hold you in your practice. Noticing the whole body sitting here, the space the body takes up, the places where the body connects to support behind you and beneath you. Really feeling the weight of the body grounding you here, now. Softening the right leg from the hip on down through the knee, all the way to the toes. And the left leg, softening, letting go of any tension, hip to toes. Scanning the body now, bringing some attention to anywhere that feels like it needs some ease or comfort. It's okay always to shift or move if you need to as you practice, and sitting still as you can. And now turning the attention inward to the interior realm of you, coming to notice any tingling or pulsing, any sensations in the body. You might notice that most in the fingertips and the toes. Might not notice anything at all, that's okay too, but that subtle movement of energy is your aliveness. We are alive in our bodies. We rarely notice. There is a presence that calls this body home. With that inward gaze, becoming aware of the awareness, becoming aware of the one who hears my voice, the one who discerns. Noticing too whatever is arising now in this internal realm. There may be thoughts, emotions, sensations, just allowing that all to be there. Maybe letting it fade to the background as today you bring your attention to the breath in the foreground. And imagining you could actually drop your breath into the space of your heart, as if you could breathe in and out of the center of your chest. With each breath in, imagining a beautiful light surrounding your heart with light. With each breath out, breathing out light into the world. And today, inviting into either the space of your heart or imagining someone standing right in front of you, one of your great spiritual teachers. Maybe an image of them, maybe a sense or feeling of them. And holding this spirit of the person that has been a wonderful teacher to you in the space of your heart, and offering them thanks. Imagining you could actually have a conversation with them, whether they're here or crossed over to spirit, whether you know them or not, inviting them into your space, either standing in front of you or imagining them in your heart. Breathing in light, breathing out light to them, and having a conversation, thanking them for their teachings. Maybe asking them if there's anything they want to share with you now. We'll sit mostly silent. I'll mind the time. You'll hear my voice now and again, and then a chime at the end. Just keep your eyes closed then, and I'll let you know your next steps. Using this heart breath, communing with your spiritual teachers. Noticing where your attention is, dropping back into the space of your heart, taking a beautiful breath in, breathing in light, surrounding your heart with light, breathing out light into the world, finishing up any conversation you would like to have with your spiritual teacher, inviting anyone else for the next minute or two. There's someone else who is a spiritual teacher to you that you haven't had a moment to acknowledge yet. You can do that now. Either bringing them into your heart or imagining them standing in front of you, thanking them for their beautiful teaching that helps you grow. Now taking one last heart breath here, breathing in light, surrounding your heart with light, and letting any images fade as you breathe out light into the world, knowing you can always come back and thank your ancestors, angels, guides, spiritual teachers, anytime you like. Now letting your breath return to its natural depth and rhythm. And we'll sit mostly silent until you hear the chime at the end. Noticing where your attention is, coming back again and again to rest in the movement, in the stillness, in the rhythm of the breath. Eyes closed, sitting in stillness just a little longer. Listening to the sound of the chime. Remembering how important it is to come out of meditation slowly, you can begin to deepen the breath. Bringing some small movements to the fingers and to the toes. Beginning to slowly stretch in whatever way feels good for you. Trying to maintain some of that present moment awareness as you mindfully move toward wakefulness. And lastly, If you like, you can leave your eyes closed as I share my reading, or slowly gazing at the floor to let a little bit of light in before coming back fully to this space. And today I'm sharing my closing reading from the book Miraculous Silence, Journey to Illumination and Healing Through Prayer by Mitra Rahbar. And this is her prayer called Gratitude for All Great Spirits. Oh, dear sisters and brothers, you who have paved the way for our journey toward enlightenment, each of you has been a voice of truth and knowledge. Each of you has been a light so that we could see more clearly, so that we too could elevate in heart and mind and walk into the space of divine grace. For all those who have come before us, the prophets, teachers, sages, philosophers, and poets who were seekers of divine truth, your beings are part of a chain linked directly to our existence. Through your breath came the truth, that which we breathe. Through your trials we have learned. Through your teachings we have expanded our knowledge. And through each of your lives we have gotten a glimpse of the face of the divine. For all those who are yet to come, the children of the light, the messengers of truth, we honor you. May your journey be graced. May your teachings be received with openness. And may you be a light for all humanity, for the world at large. With each step you take, may you bring the world closer to divine truth, and may each of you carry the divine's face on and in your heart. What awaits us? To all you beautiful beings of light, those who were and those who are yet to come, we hold you in deep embrace. We pray for your spirits to be in eternal joy and peace, and we bow to you in gratitude. Our hearts fill with appreciation as we sit humbly in your light. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me today.